Tonight on Ctv3 News, Belize's Agriculture Ministry confirms second case of New World screwworm, this time in the Toledo district. 2024-2025 crop season faces setbacks. Minister Hosemai warns of low-quality cane amid bad weather. Disease challenges and road conditions. Police confrontation leaves a man from Sartaneja wounded following shootout. And the newly upgraded Santa Elena access road to the Curacao Free Zone is inaugurated. These are some of the stories we have for you tonight in our newscast for Thursday, January 9th, 2025.
The New World screwworm is a serious threat to livestock, pets, wildlife, and even humans. It begins when a female fly lays her eggs in a wound or mucous membranes of a live, warm-blooded animal. These eggs hatch into larvae that burrow into the flesh and feed on living tissue, causing severe damage if left untreated.
Monitoring your animals regularly is key. Check your livestock and pets for any wounds. No matter how small, even something as tiny as a tick bite can attract New World screwworm flies.
Clean and treat all wounds immediately. Keep them covered and monitor them for any signs of infection or larvae. Early treatment is critical to stopping screwworm infestations. If you suspect an infestation, notify your local authority, PAHA, BLPA, or the Ministry of Agriculture right away. Quick action can prevent the spread and protect your livestock and the community.
Together, we can protect our livestock industry by preventing New World screwworm from entering Belize. Stay vigilant, treat wounds, and report any signs to the proper authorities. Stay informed, stay protected.
Good evening. With your news now, so Samukas and Fiesta FM 106.7. I am Joanna Rodriguez. In a concerning development for Belize's agricultural sector, the Ministry of Agriculture has confirmed a second suspected case of New World screwworm, NWS, in cattle. This latest case was identified in San Pedro, Colombia, in the Toledo district, approximately 22 miles from the first incident reported on December 28, 2024, near Crixarco. According to the Honorable Jose Abelardo May, Minister of Agriculture, the detection of the NWS case in such a remote area took the ministry by surprise.
The extension officers, BLP extension officers are all on the ground right now, combing the area. They are doing a house-to-house and a farm-to-farm campaign, looking to see if there are any more cases. Up to now, no other case has been found, none has been reported, and so I believe that however it got there, I don't know how it got there, we suspect two possibilities: one, wildlife, and two, the movement of cattle from Guatemala. The last case in Guatemala was 11 miles from Crixarco. So we figured initially that it could have been wildlife, because distances could be easily flown by the fly. But we also discovered that there are farmers in the area that are farming, and the animals appear to be coming from Guatemala. So we have moved. If we know that, then we can act.
The movement that you all were looking at when it comes to animals, was it being carried out illegally? Because I do know that you all had checkpoints and you all were doing your diligent job.
Yeah, clearly. If you look at the map, on Google Map, the southern part of Sarstone, you will see all cleared, and it's all farms on Guatemala side. If you look on the Belize side, there are less clearing, but there are also some farms. But the animals there are very good animals. You can see they are good genetics. So we figure that there's some kind of communication between this side and that side. There is no evidence, but it happens. It happens a lot in Honduras and Nicaragua, those borders. The farms are shared across borders. And so that has been the problem in Central America, that the movement of animals across borders. Mexico has the same problem. But we have addressed that now. Our people have been to every single farm in southern Belize, all along the banks of the Sarsoon River. And everybody is well informed, well aware that animals cannot come in without being inspected. It's illegal to bring animals first, but if they do, we have to inspect those animals and ensure that they are free of wounds, or if they have wounds, have to be treated and returned back where they're coming from.
With illegal movement identified, the ministry is now working on the erection of a control point.
Right now, we are putting up a control station. A control station is actually what controls the flow of animals. And that is being, I think, in Bella Vista is the location that was told is the best place strategically to place the control point. In other words, all animals coming out of that area have to be thoroughly inspected and treated before they cross the area. So like I said, the ground campaign seems to be going very well. The reports I got last night is that they are having very good response from the community. They are bringing forth the animals, they are treating animals. And so I think if that continues, we'll be able to contain that outbreak in Toledo. So far, it is good. We have two. We're the last country in Central America to have the infestation of worm. It speaks volumes of the country, what we are doing. We had a meeting last week where the USDA representative was in the meeting with us, and he commended Belize for a job well done.
Despite the documentation of a second case, Minister Mai says Mexico will continue to allow the importation of cattle from Belize.
We continue on dialogue with Mexico. Mexico has said to us that not a day will be lost in exportation. As a matter of fact, Mexico has offered to reduce the number of quarantine days from 21 days to 7 days. That is to be finalized now that the holidays are over and the Senasica is back on track working, and that will help us reduce the cost of exporting cattle formally, and that will then give us the competition over the informal markets, hopefully.
But while Mexico is willing to continue buying our cattle, the U.S. Department of Agriculture, USDA, has announced new restrictions on live animal imports from Belize effective January 3, 2025. This comes after Belize confirmed its first case of New World screwworm in the country. The USDA has prohibited the import of live ruminants, swine, and their germplasm from Belize. Dogs from Belize will be allowed entry with a healthy certificate confirming they have been inspected for screwworm. Horses from Belize will need to undergo a strict screwworm treatment protocol, including quarantine, upon arrival in the U.S. Horses imported to the United States from screwworm-free regions transiting screwworm-affected regions via air, land, or sea will require a minimum of 7 days in quarantine at an office animal import center, the USDA stated. While the Ministry of Agriculture is yet to be officially informed about the ban, Minister of Agriculture Jose Mai says it does not affect Belize in any way.
I don't think that they've written to us. I asked if they've written. I don't remember if they responded yes or no, but they usually post it on their web page. They have a web page that they post it on. If they got in contact with us formally or to our Animal and Health Plant Institute, I don't know if they have. But the way they operate, the Americans, is that they put it on their website, right? Now, important to know, Belize does not export anything to the U.S. in terms of livestock, so that doesn't affect us in any way, shape, or form.
Cane farmers across the north are facing a critical crisis due to rapidly spreading fungal infection impacting sugarcane crops known as Fusarium. The pest has been wreaking havoc for the past months, leading to widespread wilting and yellowing of the plants. Current estimates indicate that approximately 3/4 of the district's sugarcane crop have been affected, raising alarms among local growers. The situation has been exacerbated by a recent rise in temperatures, creating an ideal environment for the proliferation of the dangerous pathogen responsible for the Fusarium infection. The issue, which is also affecting Mexico, has stakeholders and government, specifically the Ministry of Agriculture, on high alert.
Mexico is seeing a severe drop in production in sugarcane and sugarcane yield and sugar. The TCTS, they call it carbe, is horrible, and we expect probably similar fate in Belize. We have a large area under infection from Fusarium, and the little we've harvested so far shows a drop in the purity, a drop in the TCTS and sugar. So we expect it to get worse. It is a matter that we need to address, not only Belize, but together with Mexico, because the disease moves, and so we need to take serious action. This morning I was in contact with the plant pathologist at Baja, and he said that they are organizing right now training with the cane producers of Veracruz, who seem to have a better grasp of managing with the disease. Now, there's no silver bullet that will cure Fusarium disease. It has to be an integrated program. It has to be integrated cultural practices. It has to be different technology. It has to do with resistant varieties. And there's no magic bullet that will cure Fusarium. It is here to stay with us. We have to engage the other countries that have had experience in managing this, and to see how we can start to make that transition towards the integrated system.
Farmers in the region are being advised on best practices to handle the crisis, including implementing sanitation measures to limit further contamination, monitoring fields closely for signs of infection, and seeking immediate assistance from agricultural experts when necessary. The 2024-2025 crop season is now in its second week, but it's been progressing while facing a number of challenges. Due to bad weather conditions, rough road conditions, and rapid spread of Fusarium disease, the cane being delivered to the factory is of low quality. Last we reported TCTS stood at 20.9, and this has been the trajectory since the start of the crop. This, says Minister of Agriculture Jose Mai, spells bad news for the industry.
The farmers get paid for their sugar delivered, not sugar cane. So if my sugar cane is 20 tons of cane to give you 1 ton of sugar, the farmer is losing money. All right? And so these are, I said in the past, I've said that the decision to start the crop is a technical one. It has to do with the quality of sugar cane, the maturity of sugar cane, and the weather. The weather has been very difficult for us. Sugar roads were unable to repair them in time. Contracts have been given, contractors have started and stopped, because if they continue working on the roads and the roads are damaged in 1 week, then they will get blamed for a poor job. And you can't even access the mall pits right now because the weather is so bad. The Prime Minister understands the situation, we understand the situation, and he has committed another $1 million to repair sugar roads. So we have all intentions to repair sugar roads when the weather permits. We cannot, at this time though, engage in aggressively trying to repair sugar roads when the weather is the way it is right now.
Have you relayed this information to the leaders of the 4 cane farmers associations? Because I understand they've met and they are really riled up about this issue.
Yes, and I also spoke to Mr. Shan Chavaria. I've also been in contact with the chairman of the sugar board, has said to them that we intend to fix our sugar roads. The Prime Minister said so this morning on his talk show. We are not an irresponsible government. We are going to do what it takes to get the sugar roads repairs when the weather permits.
Over the past month, residents of the Corozal district have been gripped by a wave of shooting incidents, both reported and unreported, prompting widespread concern and speculation about the underlying causes. Fortunately, while several shootings have occurred, they have not resulted in fatalities. In a recent development, Ctv3 News has closely monitored the situation and learned that the Corozal police apprehended 25 individuals over the weekend in a bid to tackle the recent spread of violence. The police are reportedly pursuing leads related to these incidents in hopes of uncovering the motives behind the alarming trend. The latest shooting incident occurred on Sunday night at the home of Benigno Loria's mother in the Dominguez layout of Corozal. As police continue their investigation, residents are concerned, asking questions that remain largely unanswered. What is causing these shootings, and are they isolated incidents? Farmers in the San Carlos village are claiming that they are grappling with a dire situation as their bumper crop of carrots goes unsold, leaving many to watch as their hard work turns to waste in the fields. Certain media houses were today invited to the village by German Tillit, the United Democratic Party UDP standard bearer for Orange Walk South. He claims that with an abundance of carrots ready for harvest, local farmers expected a fruitful season. However, they now find themselves in a fight to sell their produce. According to him, the local market has become saturated, with competition running high and wholesale buyers in short supply. Many farmers are left with no option but to sell their crops at drastically reduced prices, often just to cover transportation costs, leading to significant financial losses across the community. Tillit criticized the government's current import policy, arguing that it is disadvantaging local agriculture producers. Today, Minister of Agriculture Jose Mai was questioned about the issue, and according to him, it's pure political mischief.
This year there's 90 acres of carrots planted. 50 acres is in the Cayo district and 25 acres in the Orange Rock district, San Carlos. It is always an issue of supply and demand. The majority of the harvest now is in January, February, I think, and March, from the information I've been sent. Let me tell you, there is one or two farmers in Carlos who are upset. Carrots is a highly perishable vegetable. It spoils in your refrigerator, right? It has no shelf life. You cannot expect the public to consume all your carrots in one day. The farmers know this very well. But if there is one farmer or one politician who chooses carrots to make a political statement, he is mistaken. That is primary school politics, coming from a very weak political mind. They've tried it before. Tracy tried it when she was feeling very carrotish 2 years ago. I had to apologize for what I said to her. And Shine Barrow tried it too, and it has not worked. Carrots is not a matter that you need to play politics with. It's not. It takes you nowhere. Our job is to ensure that the farmer can market as much as he can. In the next 5 years of our term in government, which will begin shortly, and in the next 5 years, we are moving our agriculture sector to a more industrialized type agriculture. We've seen that if we've reached our capacity in fresh production, we start now to add value aggressively. And so we are reaching out to the ROC mission, we are reaching out to other countries to help us design a plant. As a matter of fact, I think we have it approved already, a facility where we can process these products because they're perishables.
Coming up next, over 150 establishments ticketed for price gouging violations in Belize as Supplies Control Unit steps up enforcement. Stay tuned.
El gusano barrenador del Nuevo Mundo representa una amenaza importante para el ganado, las mascotas y los seres humanos. Puede provocar graves pérdidas si no se controla rápidamente. Actualmente no está presente en Belice. Es por eso que la detección temprana es crucial para evitar su propagación. Ayudemos a mantenerlo fuera. No traiga animales de otros países ilegalmente. Si nota gusaneras en heridas inusuales, infórmelo de inmediato. Llame a Baja al 824-4872 o envíe un mensaje de texto al 670-7003. Juntos podemos trabajar para mantener a nuestro país libre del gusano barrenador del Nuevo nuevo mundo y salvar animales. Este mensaje es presentado por Baja, OIRSA, IICA, USDA y el Ministerio de Agricultura, Seguridad Alimentaria y Empresas.
Moises Verde is currently recovering at the Northern Regional Hospital in Orange Walk following a violent confrontation with police earlier today in Sartaneja. Verde, who is under medical supervision, sustained gunshot wounds to his right hand, left shoulder, and groin after allegedly firing at police officers who had been searching for him since an incident last week. The situation escalated when police received a tip about Verde's location in the vicinity of Sartaneja. Officers had been on a daily patrol in the area, actively searching for Verde, who managed to elude capture by hiding in a nearby jungle. This heightened urgency arose after reports indicated that Verde had shot and injured a male individual in Sartaneja the previous week, prompting an immediate police response. Upon locating Verde today, officers ordered him to surrender. Reports are that instead of complying, Verde opened fire on the officers, leading to a return of gunfire. The officers' response resulted in Verde being struck 3 times before he was apprehended. The Belize Police Department is actively investigating the events surrounding the shootout, and further details are expected to emerge as the situation develops. The family of a 34-year-old man from Corozal Town is growing increasingly desperate as their search continues for Vincent Walter Young, who has been missing since November 13, 2024. Young, a Belizean laborer, was last seen on Tuesday afternoon around 3:45 p.m. His disappearance has left his loved ones in a state of worry, with hopes of finding him dwindling as time passes without any leads. Described as having a dark complexion and standing approximately 6 feet 2 inches tall, Young weighs around 200 pounds and is of Creole descent. At the time of his disappearance, he was wearing a 3/4 blue jeans, a black sleeveless shirt, and a pair of distinctive green Nike slippers. Family members have implored the community for assistance, arguing anyone with information about Young's whereabouts to reach out. Individuals with information can contact Crime Stoppers at 922, utilize the P3 app, or visit their nearest police station. Prime Minister John Briceño has confirmed that elections are expected to take place in the first half of 2025. With only a few months left before Belizeans head to the polls, Prime Minister Briceño says there is simply no time for a complete redistricting exercise to take place. Although the case is still being taken through the process in the courts led by the Belize Peace Movement, that process will not be done before the next general elections.
Well, quite likely, yes, that is. I don't know the details, but yes, I don't think that was filed properly. But more importantly, we have to be also practical. Whilst I firmly believe that there must be redistricting, unfortunately, it's still in the National Assembly. Until that comes out from there, then you can have the real proceed with it. But the truth of the matter is that election is upon us, and I don't think we have enough time to be able to do the proper delineation and the lists and having the different representatives to be able to know who's going to be in the area or not. So it's something that I would definitely give special and urgent attention if we're giving the opportunity to form the next government.
Earlier this week, the Supplies Control Unit under the Ministry of Agriculture, Food Security and Enterprise released a list of over 150 establishments from across the country who have been found in violation of one or more of the new supplies control regulations. This comes as part of the unit's compliance activities, which began in late 2023 as a measure to deter price gouging. As we had reported earlier in the week, the over 150 establishments, including various in the Orange Walk and Corozal districts were ticketed for infractions such as offering sale above the control price, failure to display price for controlled good, and offering for sale above the control price for regulated item. Today we spoke with the Controller of Supplies, Lennox Nicholson, who told us more about the works the unit has been carrying out to work with establishments across the country to reduce price gouging for the benefit of the Belizean consumers.
The 153 that you see cited here are the outturn from basically the start of our exercise towards the end of 2023 to present. Okay, so you're looking at 14 matters over a period of 13, 14 years as opposed to 153 in a little over a year. So that's basically to give an indication of the level of productivity that we have managed to pull through as a result of certain adjustments to the regulations, the expansion of the list of products that we have jurisdiction over, and additional resources that have been made available to the unit. So we're looking at, in a year, a little over a year, putting out 10 times the output of the previous 14 years. Okay, so I just want the public to understand that so that it is clear that this unit has hit a stride and we're putting out work. The reason we decided to put out the release is that you will recall at the start of this whole process a little over a year ago, the media were asking me questions which give the impression that what we're doing is a stopgap measure, that we would do it for a period of time and then we would somehow stand back. And I indicated to the media at that time that the instruction and directive that we have from the Prime Minister and his cabinet is that enforcement and surveillance is to be continuous. Okay? So we put out the release to ensure that the public understand that the work continues. We have not removed ourselves from the market at all, and to ensure that establishment owners know that they're still have that obligation to comply with the regulations.
As part of the ongoing work, Nicholson says the unit has also been in constant engagement with Nemo San Pedro to train designated persons to identify violations and issue tickets, particularly in times of emergency.
That is important because the last time we had an emergency, certain issues arose with respect to being able to have personnel on the island, particularly in San Pedro and Kikaka, during times of emergency, particularly if there's a threat of a hurricane, and as well the matter of certain goods which we do not currently regulate having significant spike in prices during an emergency, plywood, nail, batteries, things of that nature. So the collaboration and the discussions with NEMO have to continue with a view to closing those gaps, because when those emergencies happen, if the government call on business persons to put in place a price freeze, for instance, we need to look at how effective that is, and we need to be able to advise the government if there are certain tweaks that can be made to regulations to ensure that any call to keep prices stable during emergencies have the effect of law, right? So the collaboration and the discussions with NEMO and the San Pedro Town Council are very important in that regard. So that work continues.
According to Nicholson, is the expansion of surveillance activities to the wholesale segment of the distribution chain.
What we do, we have points of contacts for the retail sector where we share certain information and it is disseminated so that when we go out to address a particular situation, everybody knows what their obligations are, right? So that is something that is very important for us. So that is one of the key things that we try to do. And as well, to date, most of our efforts have been confined to the retail sector, right? But as you know, there is an importation component as well as a wholesale component to the distribution chain for these goods. We are now entering a phase where we're starting to go back up the distribution chain to identify what the business practices are at the wholesale level as well as at the importation level. And that particular exercise will be data-driven, okay, for us to get an understanding of exactly where the compliance gaps are, because the regulations do not only call for us to intervene at the retail segment of the distribution chain, but basically through the entire distribution chain for these goods. So that will be a major step going forward in mapping the distribution chain and identifying what practices are occurring at each stage.
For the new year, approval has also been made for additional personnel and the opening of regional offices in the Orange Walk District and Independence Village in an effort to further the work of the unit in these areas.
An approach to this issue that is broad-based, that is all-encompassing, that calls on resources from different segments of the government to bring relief to the general public. I must tell you again, approved for us additional personnel. So our strategy going forward is to maintain a permanent presence in each region of the country. So we're looking at establishing a permanent presence in the Orange Walk district, which will service Orange Walk and Corozal districts. We're looking at establishing a permanent presence in the Mid-South, in the Independence, Placencia area to essentially service everything from Placencia down to Punta Gorda.
To report any case of suspected price gouging, you can contact the Supplies Control Unit at phone number 607-4686. As mentioned by Controller of Supplies Lennox Nicholson, some of the business mentioned in the release are repeated offenders who many are saying should receive stiffer penalties. While it's a move that can take place, Minister of Agriculture Jose Mai says it must be carried out under the law.
I'm sure that there are regulations in place for that. If you're repeated offenders, then like I said, I haven't seen the list, but we'll look at what the law says about it. And if they need to close them down, then we close them down. Right? We publicize them first. We show the people that these people are gouging. And after that, then we follow the law. There's a law for it, right? So we have to follow what the law says.
1 year after breaking ground, the government of Belize today celebrated a milestone achievement with the inauguration of the newly upgraded Santa Elena access road to the Corozal Free Zone. A host of government leaders, including Prime Minister Honorable John Briceño, Minister of Agriculture, Food Security and Enterprise Honorable Jose Mai, Minister of State in the Ministry of Foreign Trade Honorable Osmond Martinez, government ministers, CEOs, and Corozal Free Zone Management CEO Neri Ramirez, Chairman Emil Grenage, and Mexican delegates converge at the Free Zone to witness the occasion. The newly upgraded road encompasses 1.6 kilometers of fully paved road, starting from the bridge that leads into Chetumal City, Mexico, to the entrance of the Corozal Free Zone's compound. The project was made possible through grant funding from the Central American Bank for Economic Integration through a $1.9 million grant. It is the hope that the road completion will attract new investment, shopping, and tourism from our neighbors in Mexico and therefore create more jobs for Corozaleños.
The Corozal Free Zone is an unprecedented success story. It sees over 1.1 million visitors per year and contributes some 13% to the nation's GDP. More than 300 businesses are registered to do business with 1,500 persons employed. The road we are inaugurating today enhances the ability of the Corozal Free Zone to keep on delivering these numbers and improve on the visitor experience for our friends from across the border. Many strides have been made toward the success of the zone over the past fiscal years. Specifically, comparing the growth and sales figures since the reopening of the zone in 2021, these numbers serve as a testament to the dedication and hard work of every individual who contribute to the success of the Corozal Free Zone. In fiscal year 2024, our Free Zone experienced commendable growth, marked by a substantial increase in sales across various sectors. However, we recognize that there is still untapped potential and room for improvement. With this understanding, we embark on a journey of innovation, efficiency, strategic partnerships, a journey we continue today as marked by the event we are now witnessing today.
Approximately 1.1 million people visit the zone annually to engage with the 316 business establishments that comprise the Corozal Free Zone, and the road is expected to enhance and improve those figures along with the visitor experience, according to Minister Mai.
Through collaborative efforts, we continue to enhance our infrastructure, streamline processes, and attract new investments, all of which contribute to this remarkable success. How successful is the Corozal Free Zone? A look at key highlights will show us how Plan Belize has brought success to the Corozal Free Zone as it has to many other sectors of the Belizean economy, including agriculture and tourism. In 2024, our sales saw a respectable increase. The value of sale is 246,152,899, demonstrating our unwavering commitment to excellence and customer satisfaction. Importations in 2024 were valued at 165,642,000 US dollars as a result. The government of Belize was allotted $9 million US in social fees for education and healthcare purposes. We did not just settle for incremental growth. Instead, we focused on expanding and diversifying our offerings. From 286 registered companies in 2022, we ended 2023 with 309 registered companies, 23 new companies. In 2024, we now report 316 registered companies, 7 new companies. Through targeted initiatives, we attract a broader range of businesses, thereby strengthening our position as a leading hub for the commerce and trade in the region. We also await investments in manufacturing in the near future. So in the next 5 years, 10 years I should say, we will see manufacturing in the Corozal Free Zone. The Corozal Free Zone received approximately 1.1 million visitors in 2024. The increase in footfall can be attributed to the opening of the new stores and an increase in promotional activities.
The newly completed project, according to Prime Minister John Briceño, represents more than just a road, but a pathway to increase economic opportunities, connectivity, and progress for the Belizean people.
We continue to invest within infrastructure and to make sure that the infrastructure that we are building, it is infrastructure that can be lasting. It's an infrastructure that can help with the development of this country, and infrastructure that can again make us feel better about our surroundings, about the environment, and about our country. And today, here we are inaugurating the Corozal Free Zone, the access road. And again, it is a road that was not built just out of this, like just a dream, or we're going to build a road. But it is something that fits in to the plan. It fits in to Plan Belize. We have seen the development of the free zone, that the free zone have had unprecedented growth, and that they have turned it around from having it closed down to where today we have over 1,600 people working, and we have even 1,000 plus more people in direct jobs that we have. A free zone that contributes, as the Minister Abby, Minister Mai mentioned, that it represents 13% of GDP and contributes $9.1 million to the budget, to us to be able to help us through the social tax that we have. But this 1.6 kilometers of road, it enhances the product that we're providing. It makes you feel that you want to come to the free zone or to come to Belize, making that entrance to Belize. And it was possible simply because we managed to work with our partners.
Counterpart funding for the road upgrading was also done through the Government of Belize, the Protected Areas Conservation Trust, and the Corozal Free Zone. And there is more news after the break. Stay tuned.
The New World screwworm poses a significant threat to livestock, pets, and humans. It can cause severe losses if not controlled quickly. Currently, it is not present in Belize. That is why early detection is crucial to prevent its spread. Let us help to keep it out. Don't bring animals from other countries illegally. If you notice maggots, larvae, or worms in unusual wounds, report them immediately. Call Baja at 824-4872 or text 670-7003. Together we can work to keep our country safe from the New World screwworm and save animals. This message was brought to you by Baja, OIRSA, AICA, USDA, and the Ministry of Agriculture, Food Security, and Enterprise.
Maria Rodriguez will be the next Auditor General for Belize. Rodriguez's recommendation is expected to be presented to the House of Representatives, the Upper House, and the Governor General for approval. The position was previously held by Dorothy Bradley, who served in that post for over 13 years after stepping down as Chief Elections Officer. In 2021, Bradley retired from the position, but a constitutional revision was made to bring her back on a 2-year contract since the government could not source an adequate replacement. The new Auditor General is expected to take position later in the year.
Yes, the Auditor General, they went through the process. It was advertised. 3 persons applied. Then the Cabinet Secretary, the Financial Secretary, and the CEO for Public Service. Yes, we went through the process. We advertised it. 3 persons applied. We had the Cabinet Secretary, the Financial Secretary, and the CEO for the Public Service that did the interview process. Each one of them were interviewed extensively, and the Cabinet Secretary informed Cabinet yesterday that they will be recommending the deputy, I'm trying to remember the lady, is it Rodriguez? Maria Rodriguez. They will be recommending her as to take over the post of the Auditor General. Obviously, that is something that has to be approved by the legislature. So at the next House meeting, we're going to present it and hope and expect that we will accept the recommendation that has been made. And then it goes to the Senate and then to the Governor General.
So no one from outside applied?
No, those are the only 3 that applied.
In a few days, the United States of America will inaugurate its 47th President, Donald J. Trump. With this come major shifts under Trump's anticipated rigorous administration, particularly in the immigration sector, with new policies expected to tighten deportations. Ahead of this change, Guatemala has announced that it is open to accepting citizens from other Central American countries who are deported from the United States. Despite Guatemala's decision, Prime Minister Briceño says Belize will not act as a safe third country to accept deportees from the United States.
How are we going to manage those pressures?
We are a sovereign nation, and they cannot force us to accept people that are not citizens of this country. And as far as I'm concerned, we are not going to accept any citizen that is not Belizeans. Any Belizean that they send back, we welcome them. We need workers, so we don't have a problem with that.
Belizeans being deported, however, will always have a place at home, according to the PM.
Is your government concerned about the mass deportation of Belizeans with a criminal history?
Well, we're concerned for any mass deportation, but when it comes to Belizeans, we say we have to welcome them. This is their home. I have cousins that are American citizens. I always tell them, remember that your home is Belize. They could kick you out from the United States, but they can't kick you out from Belize. So if they send anybody with a criminal record, we hope that when they come that they would be productive citizens, but we can't stop them from coming back to Belize.
And will we be prepared for the possible influx of deportees?
Well, we have to. If it's our citizens, we have to accept them. There's no ifs or buts about that.
And that's the news. We invite you to join us for another newscast on Friday, January 10th here on Ctv3 News and Fiesta FM 106.7. Remember that to read a text version of the news, you can visit our website at ctv3belizenews.com. You can also log on to our Facebook page for current stories at facebook.com/ctv3belizenews or our YouTube channel at Ctv3 News BZ. From all of us here at Ctv3 News, thank you for watching and listening. Good night.